Guys, he left enterprise software in 2015 to launch Hounder.co, which is an agency that broke 1 million in revenue in 2021, 2 million in revenue last year, hoping to break 2.5 this year, but they're secretly building an internal SaaS tool they plan to release to the market later this year, which you want to check out. Hey, folks, my guest today is Josh Northcott. He is named the top 10 most exciting founders in 2023 from LA Weekly. Currently, the CTO and co-founder of Hounder, an award-winning design and development company that specializes in large web system implementation, web design, and the development of product applications. He's using this discovery to build his own SaaS tool, which is coming out later this year. We're going to learn about it all today. Josh, are you ready to take us to the top?
Hey, that sounds good, Nathan.
All right. So when did you launch the company? And this, just to be clear, this is an agency today, right?
It's an agency today. Yeah, we've been it's been about 7 years now that we started, since we kicked it off. Basically, it really kind of started off with, me being a web director for a large software company, an enterprise company. And we ended up doing a lot of work with, some of the biggest, agencies and service providers in the nation. And it ended up becoming a thing where I always wondered why stuff didn't get done on time, on budget, and all those things. Like, why is it always a mess? Like, why does it suck? So we ended up said, hey, I think we can do this better. And me and my co-founder Justin, we stepped out of kind of corporate jobs and started Hounder 7 years later. Or 7 years later, here we are. So that's kind of how it initially started.
What is that? 2020, 2015?
It was late 2016, actually. It's late 2016, or it was 2016. So I guess it's just going up on 7 years.
20. Okay, and then fast forward today. How many folks are full time at the agency?
Full-time employees, 10 now, and then we have 12 as a whole team, but 10 full-time employees. Yeah,
10 full time. Okay, great. And when you're doing these big projects, like, are we talking like $5,000 a month retainer, or minimum 6 months, or like, how do you generally price?
Yeah, so these are we basically focus primarily on enterprise. So that's where we come from, and so we're talking about like big system kind of marketing, system implementation, CMS, custom designs, that type of stuff. So generally, like in terms of cost go wise, like generally we don't do anything under 100K.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So 100K minimum project value, and then what you'll do like 4, 5, 10 projects a year.
That's it. Yeah, that's about right. And and then we do have ongoing services, as you kind of mentioned, but that is, the big thing is, just we kind of hand choose and hand pick those 5 or 6 projects we do every year with our clients.
Yeah, have you guys had your first $1 million year yet?
Oh gosh, yeah. We actually, so last year we had our first, and then, 2 years ago we had our first $1 million year. And then we saw 100% growth even in 2022, and we reached our 2 million year. So last year. So yeah, we're hoping to keep the 100% growth train going here into this year. So
that's impressive. I don't know. I always calculate revenue per employee at agencies. $2 million with 10 people would put you at like 200 grand of revenue per employee, which is pretty impressive. I imagine you might have an army of contractors you turn off and on as you need them. No,
actually, no. I know a lot of people do it that way, but no, we kind of we're only growing as the demand for us grows, basically. So that's kind of been our sweet spot. But no, we haven't had to really do that at this point. Maybe in the future, but right now we just have a real tight-knit team that we've worked with, and I've worked with personally like years before in other companies, things like that. So it's just works well.
How do you manage the planning from that perspective? When you sell a $100,000 contract and you complete it in 4 months, you then have to go start all over and sign a new $100,000 deal to replace that revenue that's now sort of completed or delivered. I mean, how do you manage that?
Yeah, so it's not perfect, but one of the things that we do is, basically, like we started at 100K at least, and then but some are close to, like, we've seen some projects that were 850K and things like that run through a course of a year, almost to the $1 million mark over a course of several years. So it's so basically what we do to manage it is like, that with ongoing services, we really keep a real close look at how much we are bringing in every single month, and then what that looks like from our costs. So that way, month over month, we see ourselves not losing anything. And then we have our projected, goals for the year. Every year we're trying to do 20% increases, 20% increase in just revenue and growth. But, over the last several years, we've seen 100% growth and about 80% growth the year before. So it's something that trying to keep that going while still being mindful of how quick we grow as a team. I think that's really it, is trying to just find that right balance of.
So the target this year is 2.5 million in revenue.
That's correct.
Oh, what's going on there, YouTube? Good to see you guys. Now imagine this. You love watching these interviews with SaaS founders, but imagine if we took all of the valuation data out from over 2,807 interviews I've done manually. Saves you a lot of time. Well, we've done this. We've built it into the beautiful interface inside of FounderPath. Check this out. I'll show you how you can access this in a second, but you log in, you connect your Stripe account, you see your valuation real time, you can see what it changed over the past 88 days, and even set goals for valuation this year. Now, the secret to valuation is there's many different ways to value a SaaS business. So the reason you're going to see 3 or 4 different valuations inside of your FounderPath dashboard, this is all free by the way, is because depending on who's doing the buying of your SaaS company, you're going to get a different valuation. A VC is going to pay a different valuation. Private equity firm is different. If you're going to do a minority sale, that's different. And if you sell the whole business, that's a different valuation. You can see all those when I hover over here. Right, so the teal is what a VC would pay, yellow is what private equity, and red is if you sold the whole thing outright. Now, what's cool about this is not built off random data. Again, you guys hear these interviews on YouTube. All these data are built from real-time valuation data points founders share with us on the show. So traction, 1.2 million, seed round, 3.7 raise, they sold 22% of their business. Go in here and filter by the event. Maybe you only want to see companies that have sold the whole business. Well, here are a bunch that have been acquired, the valuation and the multiple. Maybe you're going out right now and you're raising your seed round. Well, go in here and look at all this recent seed deals that went down, what they raised, what valuation they raised at, and what percent that they sold. There's never been a larger data set of SaaS valuations than what you can get now inside of FounderPath, and we're thrilled to bring it to you. All right, we're going to go back to the YouTube video here in a second, but if you want to check this tool out, if you want to jump in and sign up, you can check it out for free to get your valuation at this link, founderpath.com/products/valuations. Or if you go to founderpath.com and hover over products, click on get your valuation here, and go ahead and sign up to give it a whirl. Again, all that valuation data live right inside the platform. I hope to see you there. All right, let's jump back into the interview. Interesting. Okay, tell me more about the SaaS idea. Some of the most successful SaaS companies, they start off as agencies. So I want to get in your head now because you're at that stage.
Yeah, that's it. And that was always the goal too, was to productize over time while we're a service company and kind of weigh products and services. And so that was the thought. I think I epically failed by it taking us almost 7 years to get there, to really start to be like, okay, let's do it. But basically, one of the things that came out of it is, getting a chance to work with some of the largest organizations in the world, like the Adobes and like who are clients and partners of ours, Shopify, who are clients and partners of ours, NHL, UL, City of Los Angeles, etc. Like, it really became a thing where we started to come across a lot of the similar types of problems and issues that a lot of organizations are having, whether the mid-size to large. So one of the things that ended up coming up is the need for, especially now, it can't be 2023 without talking AI, right? So it ended up becoming a thing where, with AI and where that's been going with ChatGPT and other tools and Bard and things like that, we could actually utilize a number of different use cases and things like that in terms of a product to make life so much more easier. That's actually installed and set up in their CMSs and in their marketing systems and tools that they have. So that's been one of the big keys where we've been starting to utilize our own for almost
Josh,
a year
so
now.
what will you replace? Like, once the SaaS tool you've built internally, once you launch it 5 years from today, like, name a tool that's live today that if you have your way, you'll replace it.
It's not so much that it will replace, but actually, it would replace like a Yoast or something like that. That's in your, like an SEO tool that's in your WordPress, things like that. Where, I mean, imagine a world where you no longer see red dots that say, hey, you should do this or you should do that or think about changing this or something like that. But instead, it just does it all for you and optimizes it for you. Mm-hmm. So that's like the type of technology that will just be instilled into these CMSs. So like the Drupals of the world, the WordPresses, the AEM, Adobe Experience Manager, Sitecores, etc. So all these major large enterprise tools that people are using
How
to
are you
manage
better
their content.
positioned though to go win that war? I mean, why doesn't Yoast just launch a plugin for those things? Why don't they like? How do you beat them? What's your mousetrap?
Yeah, so basically the big thing for that one is that like the big mousetrap here is that one is it's really speed to market, but two, I mean it's very true. They have like a big part of their market today. They can go ahead and build, but the big thing is it doesn't stop there. It doesn't stop with just introducing AI. It starts with introducing machine learning and things like that actually create like an autopilot mode for an SEO person. So you don't have to, so it's no longer just maybe clicking a button and getting some AI content that's optimized for your page, but instead it's sitting there and it's learning and it's doing things differently. So for example, imagine, so one of the things like an SEO professional does today is like, especially if they're good at what they do, it's not, they don't stop at just your ranking. Like say you now rank, you got NathanLatka.com now ranks number one. But now, because of the actual there's those click through rates that people are actually clicking on and seeing, and depending on what your title and descriptions are, people are gonna may or may not click on it, even though you're ranking it towards the top. So, like what really good SEO people do is you actually kind of measure that, and you start trying new things. You start saying, okay, well, will our click through rate go up if I start to change this title, change this text? Those types of things. Well, imagine machine learning kind of going on in the background and
I know,
just
Josh. I mean,
doing
I
those
get
things
that.
for
I
you.
just don't understand why you're uniquely positioned to win that battle. I mean, if Ahrefs launches a plugin to do this, if SEMrush launches a plugin to do this, if Yoast get I guess I just don't understand how what your plan is to like beat them and get to market faster than they are for this exact tool.
Yeah, well, I mean, in terms of like beating them and what the mousetrap is, there's a couple of different things, and it's the size of clients that we work with that already trust us, that use a lot of the stuff that we build. So it's really starting first with towards the top and having that partnership with a lot of those big companies that own these tools.
So top
That's
down
kind
is,
of
I mean, so the answer there will be then like Nathan, I feel like we've got an advantage, so we're going to go top down instead of all of them, which are PLG generally, and they all go bottoms up.
correct. Yeah, because it's really a matter right now where you're just on the store, right? Like you're just sitting there on the
Yeah.
store, and hopefully you're looking at 5 or 6 or 7 other different plugins that all say they do the same thing.
All right. When do you
So
launch? When's it go live?
going to be at the end of this quarter, man. That is the goal. So we're looking at a soft launch of that, and then and already we already have about 100 people. We're going to get the whole marketing thing going really soon as well. But we already got 100 different companies that have already signed up for the beta program and the early
What's the
bird
URL to
to
sign up for
get
beta?
it going. It is launching, but it's going to be SEO Central dot co, and SEO Central.ai goes all to the same spot.
Interesting. And what's your initial price point going to be? Have you thought about that yet or no?
Yeah, we did. It's going to be about only $140 for the whole entire year. So annual cost of 140.
Interesting. SEOcentral.ai. We'll have to check it out, Josh. In the meantime, though, we're out of time. Let's wrap up here with the famous five. Number one, favorite business book.
Oh my gosh, Clone Yourself. Great book.
Number two, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
You know what? Yeah, actually, I'm following a couple different people, or a number of different people. But one that I really like is a guy named Brian Flynn, who owns Super 7, which is like a toy and kind of pop culture company that's doing cool things on just a bunch of different stuff. And he comes from like a punk rock background and like music and all that stuff, and does just the motto is no one did what we were wanting, and so we're just creating it ourselves, which I love that kind of motto.
Number three, what's your favorite online tool for building Hounder?
Ooh, favorite online tool for building Hounder. You know what? I gotta say, probably SEMrush has been huge in a lot of ways. A lot of content marketing there. And
number four, how many hours of sleep do you get every night?
So, it's some days are better than others, but I'm getting I'd say on average about 6 hours.
Okay, and situation, Josh, married, single, kids?
Married with kids. Yeah, 2 kids.
That's awesome. How old are you?
I am turning 40 in just a couple weeks.
That's exciting. Happy early birthday. Last
Thanks,
question.
man.
Something you wish you knew when you were 20.
Wish I knew when I was 20. You know what? To go ahead and take the risk. Take the risk right away. Go with what you want to do right away. Don't wait. Don't try to just follow the norm and just do what you want. Do the dream right out of the gate. Don't look back.
Guys, he left enterprise software in 2015 to launch Hounder.co, which is an agency that broke $1 million in revenue in 2021, $2 million in revenue last year, hoping to break 2.5 this year, but they're secretly building an internal SaaS tool they plan to release to the market later this year, which you want to check out. In the meantime, check out Hounder.co. Josh, thanks for taking us to the top.
Thanks, Ethan.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers, they try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.